like I would have had any.
Well, this
chance.
brings to mind. This is something that I constantly want to ask, and I have probably the coolest sober person I've ever talked to in my life up here. So this is a perfect time to ask this. I hear that story. Perfect example. I go, so why aren't you still drinking? What's wrong with that?
You gotta fucking get back on the Bjork saddle and fucking.
Well, I mean,
there's other Bjorks.
Because I talk to other people and they go like, yeah, I woke up in a puddle of blood and I kept doing that. Third time a day. Yeah, you gotta stop waking up in puddles of blood.
Well, no, yeah.
You get a dark one. Don't think of it as a comedy show. Give us a second one, and then I'll let you go to dinner with
with Bjork. A dark one. You know, it wasn't just that there was like, it wasn't any specifically that any one thing happened. It's just when I look back at what my life was like back then, I had been on MTV in the 90s, and there was this sort of unspoken curse, like, well, if you're on MTV, like, that's it. You know, like, you probably won't do anything else after that. Because a lot of people didn't. And the business was less forgiving back then for crossing over. Like, if you were VJ, if you're on MTV, it was like, yeah, you know, sort of like being what people consider like being an internet personality now, you know, and someday that'll change. Or it's in the process of changing. And so, I was like chunky and blotchy, and I wasn't working. And I think I just kind of looked at the sort of like, here's the landscape of my life. I can keep doing this, which would be fine, you know, like I never had to go to the hospital, well, except for one time. I jumped over a wall and like fucked up my foot. Like that was it. And I was also fat and I had these leather pants. It was really embarrassing. You should never wear leather. No one.
Were you fat and in leather pants when you tried to pick up Bjork?
No, yes, I was, as a matter of fact. And I think
Jeff put it together.
And
Leave
you know
it to
what?
Jeff.
You know what? I think in my drunken mind, I'm like, I'm just like Jim Morrison. You know, like this fucking fat guy with leather pants. One day, some hot girl's gonna blow me in an elevator, and that never happened. That never, ever happened. And so I think I just, I just kind of, truthfully, like sincerely, I just kind of got to a point. It wasn't anything specifically bad happened, but just a period of my life was just sort of like a dark ages where nothing really moved forward, and it just kind of kept getting worse and worse. And I just thought, you know, right when I was about 30, 31, I was like, you know, I can stay on this path. And that's fine. I'm not gonna. I don't black out drunk, but nothing else really substantial is probably really gonna happen in my life. But I also realized, wow, I have this crazy ability to focus on something. Like, I'm clearly addicted to alcohol. So, you know, what if I could refocus that? You know, so like there was this idea of maybe I could take this demon that I had and figure out how to spin it in a way where I could use it instead of denying that I had it. So I did, you know, I go on. Okay. As Jeff goes to the vodka bucket. And so, you know, I did. And then when I quit, then I realized like, oh yeah, I had all these problems that I wasn't dealing with. And then, you know, there was a little period where I had to, you know, fix the brain.
Every conversation I have with people, I go like, first question is, are you an alcoholic? I can't say yes fast enough. The reason is because I caught onto the game. If you say no, you're an alcoholic.
Right. Oh yeah. Some people will like, oh, you're in denial, huh? You're like, but you didn't even give me the.
Yeah. I just click the blue wire right away. I don't care if it blows up or diffuses the bomb, but I'm not going to stand there and go, and they're going, it sounds like an alcoholic to me. Because 85% of everyone is a dick.
Yeah.
85% of all drunks are dicks, and 85% of all sober people are dicks. And you meet less sober people than you meet drunks. So if you're drunk and you meet a sober person, 85% chance you're going to have a fucking bad time. Because you don't meet that many, and 85% of them are dicks. And a sober dick is somebody who gets as much identity from being sober as a drunk gets out of being drunk. Like, you met them when you were drunk. You met them when they were drunk. Like, they alcohol was their life. I'm a drunk. I love being drunk. Let's drink. And then they find Jesus, or they get sober, and then it's like, I'm sober. Are you sober? I'm sober. I'm sober.
Drunk people talk like this. Sober people talk like
But I never knew you were sober. I met you. I walked into your life pissed on your stage.
Yep.
Raped your dog. Did a shot of Fernet Branca. Walked out, and then someone else told me, he's sober.
Oh, but I don't really. It doesn't never bothers me because I don't. I'm definitely not someone who looks around everyone and they're like, "Bro, that person should probably." Like, I have my problems. Other people have their own path. I just don't fucking. Like that. That's just how it is for me. I just don't tell people. I don't judge people that way.
All right, how do we end this interview?
How do you judge people?
All right.